LSU Fighting Tigers Sports. WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. Henri has been downgraded to a tropical storm from a hurricane, but remains a force to be reckoned with.
Storm moves inland, it will begin to slow down and dump all of its rain. In general, 3 to 6 inches of rain, could be some isolated areas, up to 10 inches. We could see historic flash flooding.
CBS News meteorologist Jeff Biradelli is in Montauk, New York, an area expected to take a direct hit when Henri makes landfall around midday. WFSB TV's Susan Raff is at Old Saybrook High School in Connecticut, where thousands in the town have been ordered to evacuate.
Valerie Smith's home has been flooded before, so for this storm, she came to the town shelter.
Scared the you-know-what out of me last year, so I don't want to go through that again.
The gym is now being set up as a temporary shelter, so people can take showers here. There is also food.
At least 10 people have died, dozens more are missing after heavy flooding destroys homes in Middle Tennessee. WTVF TV reporter Chris Davis is in hard-hit Waverly.
You can see an entire house taken off its foundation, crammed into a gas station just beyond there. It's unlike anything we've ever seen, and the cleanup will not only take weeks, it will probably take months. Power remains out. There's a water boil in effect for Waverly.
Parts of the state reportedly saw more than 11 inches of rain. An isolation order remains in effect in Mississippi. WJTV's Byron Brown reports from Jackson.
State Health Officer Dr. Thomas Dobbs issued a COVID-19 isolation order. It says anyone, including fully vaccinated people infected with COVID-19, must remain in the home or other appropriate residential location for 10 days from the onset of illness. Failure or refusal to obey the order is, at a minimum, a misdemeanor punishable by a $500 fine, imprisonment for 6 months, or both.
As Afghan nationals flee their country to escape the Taliban, places like Northern Virginia Community College in Annandale are helping out.
They have no clothes, nothing, but thank God a lot of help is pouring in.
Nova Community College is sheltering some refugees. Nurse Hasina Shaw rushed to the Annandale campus to help.
Most of them were very depressed. They had so many people left behind. There's an 11-year-old there with no mother, no father.
Car after car driving in donations, so much that the college said they had more than they could handle.
WUSA TV's Jess Arnold. The Pentagon is formally seeking airlift help from commercial airlines to relocate evacuees from Afghanistan once they've gotten out of the country. This is CBS News.
CBS correspondent Allison Keyes goes deep into social justice issues across the nation on Kaleidoscope, a new podcast from CBS Audio. New episodes every Monday.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-711-6818 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-711-6818 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-711-6818 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on this little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-711-6818 now. That's 800-711-6818.
Excited to go see some live music?
Just when you thought live music was back, a lot of shows are getting canceled and postponed again as COVID cases surge across the country. The world tour of K-pop group BTS has been canceled. The Country Music Association canceled CMA Fest in Nashville, Burning Man in Nevada. Nope. New Orleans Jazz Fest has also been canceled for a second year. Michael Bublé. Rage Against the Machine, Limp Bizkit, Roger Waters, and Garth Brooks all not hitting the stage. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
WWL first. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL AM, FM, and .com.
Well, it's going to be another hot and humid day across southeast Louisiana, and today's going to feature plenty of sunshine. Not a whole lot of rain in the forecast today, all thanks to an area of high pressure. Can't rule out a stray shower or two, but many cities will remain dry. My forecast high this afternoon is 95 degrees, but it's going to feel like the triple digits, and a heat advisory will be in effect through the morning, lasting into the early evening hours, so make sure you're staying hydrated if you're planning on spending some time outside.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan, will be along with your full weather forecast. A New Orleans police officer is killed while having dinner in Houston. Correspondent Anayeli Ruiz has the story.
Well, the shooting happened in the patio right behind me. Police Chief Troy Finner says a group was visiting from New Orleans when two men approached the group and tried to rob them.
We better than this, and I'm not going to let by as the chief and everybody that's standing with me right now and let a few little thugs tear down our city.
Police Chief Troy Finner angry at the latest shooting that claimed the life of an off-duty police officer from New Orleans. The shooting happened shortly after 5 p.m. The chief says two men approached a group sitting in the patio and tried to rob them.
Everybody complied. One of the suspects fired, shooting two individuals.
The second victim was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Chief Finner says the men got away in a silver or gray Altima.
Closer to home, a shooting in New Orleans East takes a life. WWL TV's Paul Dudley reports.
The NOPD is investigating a deadly shooting that apparently happened in the parking lot of an apartment complex in New Orleans East. Officers say a 26-year-old man was killed shortly after 9 p.m. in the parking lot located on the north side of the I-10 service road between Bullard and Gannon Road. No other details are available at this time. If you have any information about this shooting that could help investigators, you're encouraged to call Crime Stoppers of Greater New Orleans. That number is 504-822-1111.
In WWL Sports,
the Saints will play their second preseason game on Monday night against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they'll still have to figure out some answers on offense, including their quarterback situation. But there's no question the defensive front is still one of the best in the NFC. NFL Network's Brian Baldinger thinks even if the Saints' offense it's their defensive line that will pick them up.
They've got a good front. They've got a lot of big, tall guys that, get their hands up. It's difficult to throw over when, Peyton Turner and some of these young guys in there. I mean, it's kind of hard to see through the trees all the time. They should be making the offense better at some point.
Kickoff between the Saints and Jaguars is set for 7 p.m. Monday night, and you can hear that game right here on WWL. Tim Zimmer, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Well, the August heat continues today, and a heat advisory will be in effect throughout the morning, lasting into the early evening hours. Plenty of sunshine in the forecast today, and temperatures are expected to climb into the mid-90s, but it's going to feel like the triple digits. So please be careful while you're out and about this afternoon. Not a whole lot of rain in the forecast today, all thanks to an area of high pressure situated over the area, but can't rule out a stray shower. Tonight looks fairly quiet under mainly clear skies, and overnight temperatures falling into the upper 70s. Now, as we kick off the weekend, hot and humid, temperatures climbing into the mid-90s, but the rain chances looks a little bit higher tomorrow afternoon. Can't rule out a few heavy downpours. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News. From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers talk and text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Good morning, Albert. Albert.
I'm muted, Doug.
You got to unmute me. There you go. You got to unmute me. Are you good now? Okay. I'm good.
I'm good.
You're good. All right.
Can you hear me?
Little feedback. But might have to all right. Well, Albert, back. Thanks for
covering the last month. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. Happy to do it.
Getting our sound crazy. Good, Doug? On the other side?
We're getting feedback.
Okay. We're getting feedback.
Is that better? How about now? Is that better?
I think that's better.
Okay.
All right. We're on. So, this homemade engineering here in Mandeville does have its challenges here. Well, thanks again, Al. Thanks so much for the last month. I appreciate it. Covering.
Not a problem. Happy to do it.
We're back. But what do you want to talk about?
Albert now.
What do you want to talk about first? LSU?
It's up to you, Doug. You're the host now. I was just in the driver's seat for a couple of weeks. I was just in the driver's seat for a couple. Okay, how about now? Is it better?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Hello.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
All right, let me start with this. Do we have a quarterback?
For the New Orleans Saints right
now. I guess we got to just get some time to excuse me. I watched the game last week. It's just really hard. When each quarterback throws a pick, it kind of stops the drive. It stops the momentum. It puts a damper on what you're watching and what they're what they're doing on the field. So, I'd like to see Ian Book do well, honestly. I mean, a guy did great at Notre Dame. He was playing, he wasn't playing the Falcons. But at the same time, his senior year, he threw 30 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I'm sorry, 50 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And he's the winningest quarterback ever at Notre Dame. Won 30 football games. So, the guy's got a pretty good pedigree. Obviously, he makes good decisions with the football. The fact that he hadn't thrown any interceptions. Of course, in his first preseason game, he threw a pick. But again, that's all a question of getting used to the speed of the game, playing finally at game speed, not at practice, not in shoulder pads and cutoffs. So, I think it's just time to shake it out. Is Taysom Hill, does he have the skills that it takes? Don't know what he's done in the offseason. And listen, I remember, and I kind of used to say it in terms of the quarterback position, and I don't know, I think the quarterback changed my mind on that. But I used to say all the time, once you get to the college level, or maybe even the professional level, Tim Tebow, for instance, I don't know that you're going to be able to change someone's throwing motion to make them more accurate. I mean, you're either accurate or you're not accurate. But I learned that not to be true with Joe Burrow 2 years ago. The guy was, he was an average quarterback, better than average quarterback, better than average. Yeah. But his senior year, after he had someone working with him that made him throw the ball to the right spot, made him throw it a little more accurately, knew when to put zip on it, when to take it off. And so I guess those things can be taught to some guys, right? So, can that be taught to Taysom Hill? Can he be taught to be very, very accurate? Because that's really what it's about.
I mean, this is my thought. We had had a conversation with an executive, sports executive in Utah, who followed Taysom. And he was asking,
okay,
do you have a quarterback? I said, if you have two, you have none. Now that we will have one in 2 weeks.
I agree with that.
Because we will have one in 2 weeks. And I think this is a lawyer personal opinion to the Sunday morning beat here, which means worth about a nickel. But I don't think Taysom Hill is a 16-game everyday quarterback. He can have a complementary role with Winston. Winston has the potential to be a top 10 to 12 tier quarterback. Yeah, he is receptive to the coaching that he's getting. But they, as a complementary type of deal, they can use their complementary skills, RPOs, short, and that's all the thing. I think
Right.
that's where they are. And,
Yeah.
You know, as far as Ian Book, I think Coach Payton back in Dallas, Tony Romo, was an undrafted free agent. And it was like a challenge to take him from undrafted free agent to who he became. I think Ian Book could be a Nick Foles with the Eagles. You know, when they won the Super Bowl. I think he could be in 4 or 5 years under tutelage. He could be a quarterback, or like a Jeff Hotslett look back in the Giants 35 years ago. Right. He had a quarterback go down, he could take you 6 or 7 games and get you through the season and possibly win. So it's interesting. I think I personally think it's going to be Winston first, second down, third and short. They're going to have Taysom Hill. I think we have a little bit of a problem with the wide receivers. Big problem.
Big problem.
Big problem. So,
which makes a problem for your quarterbacks, right? I mean, how is it that Kansas City has 4 guys, 4 wideouts that run 4-4-4-3? Speed kills. I mean, let me tell you, if I got 4 guys I got to cover back there, what do? How do you hide them with a cornerback that, you know, that's more of a run stopper? Yeah, I mean, that's been the – and look, and Mahomes throws to a spot, and they run get it, and they beat the other guy to the spot.
You know, it was one interesting thing. Terrence Marshall went right before people in the draft. You know how the draft falls. He's had 2 fantastic preseason games already. He looks like the real deal. And it's just interesting. And they're going to keep learning, you know, remains to be seen. I don't think he'll make a significant contribution this year. Maybe on special teams. But I think that it's going to be a very big challenge in the new quarterback. Find some these wide receivers who have separation.
Right.
Be able to get open. And, you know, that's why I think you need to incorporate Taysom Hill X factor in order to offset those type of issues. Again, also going back to Michael Thomas, I have to give you every time. 2 years ago, you had great reservations about that big contract.
Yeah.
There's somewhat some they would admit it. And I think Coach Payton did the only thing he could in that situation when somebody has $60 million guaranteed money is to patch it up best you can.
Right.
Sure,
yeah, exactly. How do you have surgery? How do you have surgery a month before the season starts when you know you've got an ankle issue at the end of the last season? Obviously, Drew's out. I don't want to play. I'll just collect my paycheck. I mean, what else does it say? What else does an action like that say?
Also, this is not non-intense football. This is $100 million NFL.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, in the real world, okay, and we understand skill. If you're not talking to your employers about your injury,
right,
well, you're terminated. Now, I mean, I'm just giving you perspective.
Right.
As to the lack of, I don't know, say common courtesy, communication, loyalty to your employer. I don't know.
I'm sure it's incumbent upon the training staff and the doctors and everyone else to say, hey, look, we just paid you X amount of dollars. What are you going to do with this ankle? We need to see your x-rays. We need to find out what's going on. What's your MRI look like? What's the status? Because we need you healthy in September. And I mean, obviously, was that conversation had? You would think it had to be. And,
I'm 99% sure of that.
it had not.
Yeah, so so it is what it is. I guess maybe October, maybe a possible return date. We'll see. The only thing, and I think Coach Payton is like, can't do anything about the past. Very unhappy about it.
Oh, that's what this league is about. Right. Next guy up. Next guy up. No, I agree with that. And you were talking about accuracy. I think Jameis has all the skills, and I think it's the consistency has been an issue for him, and hopefully that's something he can turn the corner on. Because he can be as accurate as can be. He can get the ball in between three defenders. He's got a great arm, but it's just, I think it's that level of consistency, that make good golfers great golfers, and good quarterbacks great quarterbacks. And he has the talent and the skills, but I just think, and I don't know what you do about that, if that's a mental thing or what the deal is.
If you want to look at the best case scenario, Randall Cunningham. Randall Cunningham was raw, a little bit inaccurate, a little erratic. By the end of his career, he was a good, refined quarterback.
And did some good things at the end of his career.
All right. Let's go to a break. I'm going to talk actually a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit. I've got updates on litigation and stuff like that. We have some updates on that. We can report that and and so we'll talk about that after the break.
Yeah, baby. Football's back, and so is tailgate. The Saints VIP tailgate party at Benson Tower is back. The better, more delicious than ever. And WWL has your tickets. 3 hours before Saints home games, all you can eat and drink. Premium open bar, gourmet buffet, just steps from the Superdome. Go to WWL.com now to find out how to score your tickets. The Saints VIP tailgate party. From BullseyeEventGroup.com and WWL.
At Oakland Heart Jewelers, we're passionate about making your dreams come true. We know that every piece of jewelry we sell is an expression of your love. A great way to say I love you is with the gift of diamond stud earrings from Oakland Heart. An Oakland Heart family member personally searches through thousands of diamonds and chooses only those special diamonds that possess the rare characteristics that achieve the biggest size with the most fire and brilliance for your money. We buy direct, cut out the middleman. That's how we bring you the best for less. Oakland Heart diamond stud earrings are like no other. Why give ordinary when you can give extraordinary? Shop smart, online or around town. Simply compare. There's nothing like Oakland Heart diamond stud earrings anywhere. And nothing says she means everything to you as a gift from Oakland Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road. Beautiful in more ways than one.
Boats require a little TLC. That's why I store my boat in Seabrook Harbor facility. And when my boat does need a repair, I turn to the craftsmen at Seabrook. Growing up on the bayou, I learned a lot about boat repair yards. And David and Jeff Mons have the finest repair facility I've ever seen. Jeff, tell us about your capabilities.
Bobby, we are the Gulf Coast's most advanced state-of-the-art yacht and boat repair facility. Be it fiberglass, paint, gel coat, carpentry, mechanical, or electrical repairs, we do it all. We also build custom parts and do complete refits. We are located near the ICW, which makes us accessible from anywhere along the Gulf Coast.
And now, party boat rentals.
What better way to beat the heat than our 24-foot pontoon boat? It's available for half and full-day rentals. It's one more reason for us to say, boating made easy.
Seabrook Marina on France Road on the Industrial Canal, just a half mile from the lake. and online at SeabrookHarborMarine.com. This is Attorney Doug Sunseri, host of All Things Legal on Sunday morning.
This is attorney Michelle Demarest Sinclair. As a result of COVID-19, many are experiencing unique family law difficulties resulting in divorce and custody issues.
Also, we learn the importance of estate planning, wills, and powers of attorney.
At Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm, we make the complex understandable.
Call me at my Metairie office at 504-837-1304.
Or call me, the Boss Lady, on the North Shore at my new office in Mandeville at 985-624-9697.
Boss lady, really? Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them.
Okay, this is the last spot. We're live after this.
May even have type 2 diabetes. $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes.
We have no one holding as of yet.
Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790. 800-568-2790. All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nicaud and Sunseri now on the Open Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. That's Sunseri. More. Let's get started. 260-1870. Albert, I know you're the attorney of the Hospitality Foundation, and that's quite a week this week. And you've received a lot of different feedback as to some of the, I guess, unilateral dictates that have been imposed on restaurant owners.
I received a lot of the same feedback.
What's that?
I received a lot of the same feedback from the hospitality industry. Yeah, and the feedback is, and again, I mean, I think this is right for an equal protection challenge. If you look at what the mayor and the administration has done, they essentially have singled out, with the exception of fitness centers, they have essentially singled out the hospitality industry in terms of this mandate requiring that people show their vaccination cards. And requiring that all employees there be vaccinated. I've got a friend who 31 years in the industry and general manager, and he's like, I gotta take vacation time because, I don't think I want to be vaccinated. It's my personal right, personal decision, and now I'm forced to stay home. Restaurants were empty. I talked to a friend. He said Thursday night, Venetia's, which is one of their big nights. You usually see people waiting on the benches outside on Carrollton Avenue for a table. Venetia's had 3 tables in there. And so it's been kind of a nightmare. I know Scott Craig was on Fox News and Laura Ingram's show, and he was saying, look, this is going to put us under. We've already lost so many people in the industry and the business. And that's one argument, that they're going to require it, but to single out one industry, right? And not, does everybody at City Hall have to be vaccinated? Does everybody, all the judges and all their staff have to be vaccinated? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so. I don't think there's any government mandate to do so. What about everybody in One Shell Square? Do they have to show their card to walk in? Show me your papers, right? In Nazi Germany. Again, I'm not giving an opinion on anti-vax, pro-vax, any of that sort of thing. But the fact is, when you treat the same citizens of your city disparately, right? And you say that, yeah, these people these businesses have to do this, but these businesses don't. what about Walmart? Does Walmart have to have everybody? What about any of the groceries, right? You just name any type of other industry other than the hospitality industry. It's a real equal protection problem. And I think, a temporary restraining order, of course, by the time you get it set, my understanding is this mandate is only until September 3rd unless they extend it. So, now, if it's anything like it's been for the last year and a half, I would bet, my right ear that they're going to go ahead and extend it for at least another 2 weeks. So,
let me ask you this. As far as
a lot of people has, especially the mayor's office, has she been open to maybe incorporating some other suggestions in order to mitigate the harshness and the financial revenue? Has there been any kind of collaborative
the Restaurant Association, Stan Harris, who's the chairman of the Restaurant Association, Louisiana Restaurant Association, was invited to a meeting by the mayor, along with others, to get some input on this whole issue. And they voiced their opinion, they gave their input, and 2 days later, she did exactly what she was going to do to begin with. So it was kind of an exercise in futility. It was not as if, almost as if she didn't even consider their suggestions whatsoever. And if you look at New York, right? You look at New York did the same thing. But New York's issue, and those are being challenged as well. Unfortunately, they're being challenged, I think, by a criminal defense attorney that's running this. Hopefully, he's hiring some pretty competent constitutional lawyers. But with that said, they gave them a month to comply. So, if let's just go through it from a procedural standpoint. If you show up at the restaurant with a copy of your front and back, but what if you show your LA wallet? If you look at your LA wallet and it pops up, a QR code pops up. That's all. It just says QR code, and at the bottom it says vaccinated. So you've got this square with all this black stuff on it. And unless somebody has an app that can read that QR code, it means nothing. So somebody can walk up with that, show it, they can send a picture of it to 1 million people, and they can walk up with that very same one and say, yeah, look, and it says vaccinated right here. Here's my QR code, and walk right in a restaurant. So, I mean, it's, and then you got people that, one of my clients told me, he said, I don't have enough people to work in my kitchen and work in my restaurant, in the front of the house either. And now they're telling me I've got to hire somebody to stand at the door and play Gestapo and check people's papers. And he said, this is craziness. And he said, they told me we can, as a workforce commission, we can get you people to do that. What if they don't do it properly? What if this is a volunteer, they don't do it properly, and now all of a sudden, do I get shut down because of it? Because of some volunteer that somebody else gave?
Yeah. Now, and I'm being facetious, it seems like he would be a lot more jeopardy than being shut down than he would be apprehended for maybe certain felonies. But,
right.
All the emphasis on the people who are law-abiding, and maybe the emphasis has not been on dealing with non-law-abiding. But is there? Let me ask you one question before we go break. Is there a reluctance to push back by the hospitality industry because they feel like it would be retaliation?
Well, if you've noticed, I've mentioned no names in my discourse today because everybody's like, yeah, we're worried because we think she's vindictive. She does what she wants, obviously. Seems like she does what she wants without thinking it through, because just those few, and that's just a handful of problems that you have with this process. But without giving you some sort of procedural vehicle or tools, it's essentially an unfunded mandate. The government's going to say, you've got to do this. We're making you do this, but we're not going to give you the financial resources to do it. And one of the issues is there was a study that in inner cities, 70% of the inner city blacks are not vaccinated. And so as a result, a lot of blacks work in the hospitality industry, and so they don't want to get vaccinated. And so what's happening is now these people are losing their jobs. And so it's a shame because they're good, hardworking people that want to work. They're good, hardworking jobs. They're available. There's an abundance of jobs, and she's putting the damper on it. So I just there's got to be a better solution to this.
And before we go to break, we just want to say that our motivation the New Orleans economy is based on cultural economy. That all over the nation, people come here for good times, food, and culture, and to castrate the culture over a measure. To me, the measures are like trying to put people down with a piece of gum that is cracked. It has probably very limited effect, but the motivation is not to criticize the mayor. Our motivation is to say the profound impact on some of these measures and how it's affecting real people on a day-to-day basis. How it's castrating the economy. Wonderful economy. Right. Let's go to a break. That's Sunseri. Cover Nicaud. We can order. We'll be right back.
You can win a pair of front row tickets to the Saints' final preseason battle against Arizona at home in the Caesars Superdome this Saturday. Go to WWL.com now and find out how to score your tickets from Saints Radio WWL. Football is almost here, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with DraftKings, a leader in one-day fantasy sports. To bring you even closer to the action, DraftKings is giving all new players a free shot at $1 million during Week 1. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Nothing adds to the excitement of watching a game quite like having a free shot at huge cash prizes. And while you're perfecting your daily fantasy skills, don't forget to check out DraftKings' free-to-play pool, where there's even more cash up for grabs. Visit the app now. Download the DraftKings app now and use code THEBIG870. For a limited time, new players can get a free shot at $1 million during Week 1. That's code THEBIG870 to get a free shot at millions of dollars in prizes with your first deposit. Only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Boats require a little TLC. That's why I store my boat in Seabrook Harbor Marine's dry stack facility. And when my boat does need a repair, I turn to the craftsmen at Seabrook. Growing up on the bayou, I learned a lot about boat repair yards. And David and Jeff Montz have the finest repair facility I've ever seen. Jeff, tell us about your capabilities.
Bobby, we are the Gulf Coast's most advanced state-of-the-art yacht and boat repair facility. Be it fiberglass, paint, gel coat.
I have Griffin on the line. Griffin, Griffin from Covington, and he wants to ask some questions about this COVID situation.
Gulf Coast. And now, party boat rentals.
What better way to beat the heat than our 24-foot pontoon boat? It's available for half and full day rentals. It's one more reason for us to say, boating made easy.
Seabrook Marina on France Road on the Industrial Canal, just a half mile from the lake. And online at SeabrookHarborMarine.com.
When Paul Goodall started shopping for an engagement ring, he knew one thing. He didn't want to be precious.
I'm not going to make a purchase at that level without understanding what I'm buying.
But the first store he went to, that's what happened.
They wanted me to buy. They didn't want me to learn. And that didn't work for me.
But then Paul found Diamonds Direct.
The exact opposite happened when I went into Diamonds Direct. There was no rush. There was no pressure. They wanted to give me the information that I was asking.
At Diamonds Direct, it's different. No games, no pressure,
Mr. No Nonsense.
It wasn't like, well, let's do something now. We got to do it now because we got this thing going on, or maybe you want to do it later. No, it was here's the information that you need to make an educated decision.
Paul learned how to buy a diamond like a dealer buys. He was taught how diamonds are graded and priced on the world market, and he was shown dozens of diamonds in his price range so he could make the decision that was right for him, his budget, and his soon-to-be fiancé.
What they do is they give you the information that you need so that you end up buying what you want. And I am such a big fan of Diamonds Direct.
Diamonds Direct on Severn Avenue, across from Lakeside Mall.
Rejuvenate your mornings with Rejuvame. RejuvameMedical.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. Whether you want to learn Spanish for future travel plans, French to connect with extended family, or maybe German to land a new job, Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use. All you need is 15 minutes a day, and you'll be on your way to confidently speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel is designed by real language experts using a modern, conversation-based technique that makes learning fun, engaging, and best of all, memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then sentences gradually get more complex. Soon you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. And with 14 languages to choose from and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll be sure to learn what matters most to you. Babbel, language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Going live after this spot.
We're making things even easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Yes.
All things legal on WWL, AMFM.com, and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Art Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Let's go to phone line. Let's go to Griffin. Hey, Griffin, you're in all things legal.
Hey, I got COVID. I don't want the vaccination. Do I have a legal leg to stand on? There's no scientific evidence that says the vaccine works better than natural immunity. Why should I get the vaccination? The studies out of Israel and England show that people with natural immunities after getting it aren't getting it as bad. So why do I have to get the vaccine? I'm pretty sure it takes 10 years in the Supreme Court.
Okay. I'm going to preface things before we answer these questions. It's very clear. Albert and I are not pro or against that. We're not making an opinion. Okay. We will cite, and I'm going to cite to you what has been cited in recent lawsuits as to what the arguments have been regarding mandatory vaccination. Okay, so I'm just prefacing that for everyone, even the station. We're not doing this. We're not making an opinion. But basically, vaccinations are under an emergency use authorization, which means, in a sense, and I'm saying this in a very colloquial manner, it is experimental. Part of the experimental nature of it is that we do not have long-term studies on the effects. It could be minimal, it could be a lot. We don't, according to the government, they don't know. So therefore, since it's under that they are not supposed to mandate. Now, many jurisdictions, especially California, New York, are moving in that direction. Now, the question is, they're putting restrictions, like, for example, the Saints games restaurants. The legal question is, are these restrictions reasonable or overbearing? Are these restrictions, I guess the benefit of the restrictions outweigh the loss of rights that you have to have freedom of personal choice. So those are the issues. In fact, we're going to talk about this later about a lawsuit in Shreveport against the College of Osteopathics, where there was a mandatory requirement in order to go to enroll in vaccination. And on Thursday, Elizabeth Morrell solicited general of the Department of Justice of Louisiana, along with 2 local attorneys, got a injunction saying the judge said no, you can't mandate vaccination. And he has some reasons as to why he granted that injunction. So now the problem is in Louisiana, you are at will state meeting. If you're employed, you do not have to. You can be fired for any type of non-discriminatory reason. So maybe an employer could say you have to get the vaccination. And the employee would say no, and they say, well, we're going to terminate your employment. And the cases are starting to bubble up as to whether an employee is protected under American Disabilities Act, under religious objections, and other type of objections. So it's in a state of flux. But there's a lot happening on that particular front.
Yeah, keep in mind too. I know Doug mentioned. Doug mentioned that we're not pro-vax or anti-vax, and that's true. I'm not. But I am.
You have Jimmy on the line.
Pro-choice in that state. I think that it should be people's decision as to whether or not to be vaccinated or not. And I mean, it's at this point, until we know more about it. I mean, you can't turn on the television without seeing these lawyers advertise for these drugs that cause cancer, these drugs that cause this, these drugs that, I mean, it's all over the place. And, and these are drugs that have been studied for years, that have gone through the 5 and 10 year protocols of the FDA. And here we are, rushing this thing through. And why is it that someone can't say, you know what? I'm a little nervous because they haven't followed all of the FDA guidelines to get this drug approved. And the FDA has those guidelines in place for a reason. So why is it now that I'm forced to have the vaccine? Again, if you're vaccinated, great. That's your decision. That's your choice. If you're not vaccinated, I think that's fine. That's your choice too. But it's America, and the fact that they're forcing this. And here's the one thing I think that they're not giving enough credence to, and there's not enough study on it, right? All you heard is that, oh, well, your natural antibodies, if you've had the virus already, they don't last. They don't last. Well, how do we know that? What studies are out there that show that how long people, and why aren't we getting tested for antibodies as much as we're getting tested for the virus? Now we're learning the vaccine, because now we're learning the vaccine doesn't last. It's in your system for a few months, and then it builds some antibodies, and then it's gone. And so now we're talking boosters. Man, how many boosters are we going to need, right? And so, I'm not saying it's good or it's bad, but I'm just saying that everybody's been saying vaccine, vaccine, vaccine. Biden said if we get 70% of the people vaccinated, this virus will be gone. So what happens is people say, oh, great, I'm going to go get this vaccine, and now I'm going to be invincible. And so they have the vaccine, and they think it's the end-all, be-all, and they go out there and do whatever. And, there's a percentage, it's a smaller percentage than the unvaccinated that have not had the virus before. 10 to 15% of the people in hospitals have been vaccinated, and people are dying after having the vaccination. And so, they're not the end all be all. You can get it again. You can have it again. And so, why aren't we studying the antibody side of it?
We got to go to break and go to Jimmy. I will say this.
Can I say something?
Well, okay.
Yes,
Well,
real quick.
Hold on. We're going to break.
Okay.
Right after the break. Hang on.
Let's go to break. That's Sunseri out. Because you can always legal. We'll be right back. Yeah, so there's brief time out.
Discover a unique variety of music stations made just for you with new exclusive stations by Odyssey.
Relive the British invasion of the 60s with Counter to the Culture.
Okay, we still have Griffin on the phone. That's who you're talking to, and Jimmy is holding.
Sail away with Chugger Yacht, the best in yacht rock.
There are hundreds of new music stations to check out today.
From arena rock to today's hits and more.
Yeah, he heard it.
Every interest.
Every passion by Odyssey. Listen now with the Odyssey app.
Have you noticed the first 4 letters of the word paint is pain? P-A-I-N? Hey, it's Newell, and I don't know about you, but I don't like pain, and I don't like the pain of painting my home year after year, not to mention the cost. That's why I'm having my home coated with Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield is a revolutionary ceramic coating that comes with a 25-year warranty, and it's perfect for wood, brick, stucco, party board, and vinyl. So do what I did and call for.
We'll be going live right after the hearing aid spot.
407-2222 or visit Rhino Shield.
Oh, Big Lou is still looking for a wife.
You'll never have to paint your home or business again, guaranteed. Rhino Shield is perfect for the Gulf Coast climate, resists mold and fading, and it's more affordable than you think. So call now for your free estimate. 504-407-2222, 407-2222, or visit rhinoshieldmidsouth.com.
What says I love you like the gift of diamond stud earrings from Oakwood Heart? We personally search through thousands of diamonds to choose only those special diamonds that possess the rare characteristics that achieve the biggest size with the most fire and brilliance for your money. We buy direct, cut out the middleman. That's how we bring you the best for less. Like your love, Oakwood Heart diamond stud earrings are like no other. Simply compare. Oakwood Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road. Beautiful, always fun. At West Jefferson Medical Center, caring for our community is what we do best. So we're doing everything we can to protect you, your family, and your friends. Due to the latest surge of COVID-19 cases in our community, we've reopened our free COVID-19 vaccine and testing sites to serve you and your loved ones, both located conveniently on our hospital campus. To learn more, visit WJNC.org/coronavirus. That's WJNC.org/coronavirus. Because at West Jefferson Medical Center, caring for our community is what we do best.
For eligible individuals 18 or older only. Not available in Oregon or West Virginia. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
If your hearing aids are 2 years old or older, you may be missing out on the huge advancement in hearing aid technology now available with Lively Hearing Aids. Switching to Lively Hearing Aids is like going from this to this. You'll be amazed at the difference. Our rechargeable hearing aids last up to 30 hours without a charge. Bluetooth enabled, they can stream music and calls directly through your hearing
Gentlemen, you'll have about 8.5 minutes.
You in control of your hearing. If you've been waiting to replace your current hearing aids because of the cost, the price of Lively Hearing Aids will be music to your ears. Lively Hearing Aids cost half the price of most hearing aids, and they're backed by a 100-day money-back guarantee. Try Lively today, risk-free for 100 days, and save $100 at listenlively.com/radio. That's listenlively.com/radio. Listenlively.com/radio.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. That's very Albert Nicaud. Griffin, you had a follow-up comment. I will discuss.
Yes. Yes, it's nice to talk to two intelligent individuals with common sense who actually base their comments on the science. I love y'all's show, and I learn something every weekend. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. And we'll send this to Bill.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Timmy. Timmy and all things legal.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Great show. I'm really glad to hear so many comments and questions and stuff regarding the vaccine protocols and how that's tying into legality. My question is just kind of specific here, sort of, but then it's kind of broad. If an employee is, I know in the future, obviously, we're seeing right now that future employment and applications for employment are going to be under the terms that, hey, look, you need to do this, you need to have your vaccine and this. But if you are currently employed by a company, not looking for a job, but currently employed, like quote-unquote grandfather in, and you give paperwork, say a religious exemption form to not take the vaccine, or say you have a medical exemption, you have vaccine injuries that you can document, anything to the office at your work. If you get that in prior to future draconian measures, if you will, like let's say right now we see the same thing, we need a vaccine to get in. We didn't expect that, Bill Benson said in June that wasn't going to happen. Well, that changed. I don't think it was a good business model by her, but my point is, if that could change with the Saints, who's to say that wouldn't change with your job, whether it be my job or a listener's job? So would you say it would be wise for people right now to put that paperwork into the office, and from a standpoint of kind of hedging your bet, if you will, to ensure that you don't get squeezed long term, because the writing's on the wall that this is going to be a mandatory vaccine protocol, and obviously they're sticking it down people's throats, whether people like it or not. So how can you protect yourself if you don't want to take the shot?
Okay, and I'm going to preface this again. Albert and I are not pro or against vaccines. We're discussing legal issues involving this very complex issue, with COVID. First of all, this is my opinion as a lawyer, without regard to the efficacy of vaccination, is that under the Americans with Disability Act, if you have medical support that says that the fact that you have a doctor that says vaccinations are not, or something that would be harmful given their physical history, the medical history such as epilepsy, neurological conditions, and other conditions, that I believe the employer has the right to accommodate that with reasonable restrictions, not unreasonable restrictions. Now, I'm relating with other employers too. When employers have told employees that they have to get a vaccination to their job, the employee will submit a religious objection, a medical objection, or personal belief objection. The other thing they have done, which is a little more aggressive, is saying, okay, if you're making this as a condition of my employment, and there's some type of adverse event from this experimental vaccination, we are affirming that you will be responsible for it under workers' comp laws and maybe some other laws beyond that, because of the fact that you made it a requirement of employment. Now, in those situations, again, I'm repeating what employers have done. Okay, I'm not, no opinion. And in a lot of those situations, the employers have taken a step back and re-looked at whether they're going to require it. Now, this is just generally, and this is sort of a general consensus on how they're dealing with this legally. So, but in my opinion, and under the American with Disabilities Act, that if you have a medical condition, you have or under the anti-discrimination laws, that if they apply, that if you have a religious objection, or even a personal belief objection, that has to be addressed in some form or fashion.
My understanding too is that Landry, as our Attorney General, has posted, and I'm not sure whether it's on his website, but you could probably find it. Huh?
Yes, on his website. They have a religious objection.
Yeah, they got a personal belief objection, a religious objection that you can find on his website to commit to your employer, to your school, to your kid's school about masks, all that sort of thing. It cites some science, some studies. And again, I know you mentioned, the caller mentioned that, Bill Benson said they weren't going to do that. Keep in mind that the Saints, the racetrack, the arena, and again, entertainment venues and hospitality type venues are all now subject to this mandate. So I don't know that the Saints or Gail Benson necessarily voluntarily decided to do that. I think that this was part of the city's mandate that's requiring them to do that. Now, if you've got a dome filled with 80,000 people, it might be, who are eating and drinking usually during the whole game, it might be kind of difficult to enforce the mask mandate, right? And again, I was watching the game, the Saints game Saturday, and they were playing in Baltimore, and it was an outdoor stadium. Virtually no one had masks on in the stands. And Baltimore is kind of a liberal town, and I was expecting that there would be some sort of mask requirement there, but apparently there wasn't. So again, it's just so all over the board. We went to a restaurant last night. Aaron and I went to a restaurant last night, and couple of the bartenders had their masks pulled under their chin. One of the bartenders had his mask fully up. We went to the bar and we tried to stand up and order a drink. They said, no, you have to sit down and drink. I said, well, there's no places at the bar to sit. And so, well, then you're going to have to go outside. I said, it's 90 degrees outside. We don't want to go outside. We came to a restaurant, sit in the air conditioning and enjoy our meal. So, it's all over the board. But meanwhile, if you sit at the bar, there were no empty spaces at the bar, which means you're sitting within inches of someone else. Whereas if you're standing up, I was a few feet away. None of it made sense. So,
people, and again, we have no opinion. We're not expressing anybody. All right.
Home of the Saints and LSU. WWL New Orleans, WWL FM, hometown in New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington.
Stay safe, stay home.
That is Connecticut Governor Ed Lamont. He's imploring residents to hunker down as Tropical Storm Henri barrels toward the northeast. Power outages expected to be widespread, says Ken Graham, chief of the National Hurricane Center.
This time of year, the trees have leaves on them. So you put that saturated soil, those tropical rains with these winds, there's going to be a lot of trees down and some significant power outages.
This man is a storm chaser viewing the situation from Montauk on Long Island, New York.
Ocean water reaches into the streets of Long Island, so a lot of people that live in this area, their homes get flooded out.
Catastrophic flooding in Middle Tennessee, where at least 10 people have died. This woman describes a harrowing experience.
It just happened so fast. We were on the roof of our house hoping that we were going to make it.
Dozens remain missing. Out in California, the Caldor fire has burned over 90,000 acres. Red flag conditions are fanning the flames and creating smoky orange skies. Captain Keith Wade says the blaze is breathing. So far, the fire has destroyed around 270 structures. It is 0% contained. Miami-Dade County Public School students head back to class tomorrow with the school board voting to mandate masks. School Superintendent Alberto Cavallo is willing to stand up to the governor's no mask policy.
If that comes with a threat of position or salary, it's a small price to pay. Be on the right side of this issue.
Demonstrators were out in force last night pushing for mandatory masks in schools in the Dallas-Fort Worth school district.
Saturday night, in the heart of downtown, people who want masks in Fort Worth schools made their case in the public square. Schools have finished their first week here without a mandatory mask rule. The superintendent had ordered one, but a Fort Worth judge stopped it temporarily.
I know politics weighs on both sides, but it's about protecting our kids.
More than 1,000 students and staff were absent because they had COVID or were staying in quarantine after being exposed.
Jason Allen with WTBT says a mask mandate would be in direct defiance of the governor of Texas. It is a desperate situation for Afghan nationals trying to evacuate as the Taliban takes control. This Afghan woman in London says her 16-year-old sister just fled and is now stuck in Turkey.
My sister is fighting for her life. I really don't know how to help her.
The British military, meanwhile, says at least 7 Afghan civilians have been killed in a panicked attempt to enter Kabul's international airport. This is CBS News.
This is Kevin Frazier from Entertainment Tonight. Treat yourself to an all-new season of E.T. starting Monday, September 13th. Go to etonline.com for where to watch.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $1.19 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-711-6818 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-711-6818. 6818 for as little as only $1.19 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-711-6818 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on this little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-711-6818 now. That's 800-711-6818.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL AM/FM.com.
Today's going to feature plenty of sunshine. We'll see a few clouds pass on by, but today is expected to remain pretty dry. Can't rule out a stray shower or two. Temperatures are expected to climb into the mid-90s this afternoon, but a heat advisory is expected to be in effect starting this morning, lasting into the early evening hours, meaning many areas will feel like the triple digits once again. So continue to practice heat safety while you're outside. Tonight looks fairly quiet under mainly clear skies, and overnight temperatures are expected to fall into the upper 70s.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan, will be right back with the latest forecast. A New Orleans police officer is killed in Houston. For the details, we go to WWL TV's Paul Dudley.
News out of Houston, where an off-duty New Orleans police officer was shot and killed while he was eating dinner at a restaurant last night. Search for two suspects continues this morning. The shooting happened on the patio of a restaurant in Houston's Galleria area around 5:15. Houston Police Chief Troy Finner shared the following details about the investigation.
You got a group of individuals visiting our city, sitting on the patio, enjoying dinner. Two suspects approach from the side on the patio, present gun, demanding articles. All the witnesses and the victim say everybody complied. One of the suspects fired, shooting two individuals.
The two suspects police are looking for, they were seen in a silver or gray Nissan Altima with paper tags.
Tulane University making a big announcement about pay for employees. WWL TV's Devin Bartolotta has the story.
Tulane is increasing the minimum wage it pays its workers. The university announced that starting October 1st, the minimum wage for its 5,600 employees will be $15 an hour. That's an increase from the current rate of $10.82 an hour. Tulane will also raise the pay of its student workers from $7.25 an hour to $10 an hour.
In WWL Sports,
as Saints training camp nears its end and week one of the NFL season gets closer, one player who's made the most of his opportunities so far is first wide receiver Deontay Harris. With Michael Thomas and Traquan Smith missing practice time in training camp, Harris has shined during camp, says the voice of the Saints, Mike Haas.
I don't think there's anybody on the team that can cover Deontay Harris. That's how good camp I think he's had. Now, we haven't seen Marshawn on him. My point was really how good camp and how good of the deep ball Deontay has been.
Kickoff between the Saints and Jaguars is set for 7 p.m. Monday night, and you can hear that game right here on WWL. And as far as the Saints' opponent come Monday, Jacksonville head coach Urban Meyer has yet to name a starter at quarterback. First overall pick Trevor Lawrence worked with the first-team offense on Friday, but last season's starting quarterback Gardner Minshew, he worked with the team on Thursday. Either way, Lawrence returns to New Orleans where he last played against LSU in the national championship game in 2019. Tim Zimmer, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Hot and humid today, and we are looking at another heat advisory where temperatures are going to climb into the mid-90s, but it's going to feel like the triple digits. Make sure you're practicing heat safety while you're outside.
Okay, here we go, gentlemen.
Rain in the forecast to help cool us down, but can't rule out a stray shower. Tonight looks fairly quiet, under mainly clear skies and overnight temperatures falling into the upper 70s. From your local weather expert, here I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News. From WWL, the news talk sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Oh, 260-187. Now, Albert, did you listen to Mike Koss call his first preseason? Did you get it?
Listen to some of it. Because honestly, I was watching the game and I'm like, oh, Darnell Hodge is on. And so I did catch like the fourth quarter. Of course, did a great job, as I knew he would. Been a good friend of Mike's for many, many years since right after college, actually. He dated a friend of ours, and so ended up marrying her. And but he did a great job. He's a very talented guy.
Well,
a lot of fun.
I don't know. Probably wrestling right now. Upset with what I'm about to say. But I think that Mike will have the same impact in connection with his play-by-play. Turn down the sound, listen to the Moose and Deuce, as Jim Henderson had as the same play-by-play. I think he is that good. And I think the hardest thing to do for a play-by-play announcer is to call a first preseason football game, especially your first game. And I will tell you, he was fantastic. Down in distance, tone, information. Letting Deuce, explain the game to him. I think very excited for WWL, very excited for the Saints, and I think I think you're going to have that. I grew up listening to John Ferguson, and Hawthorne, and Chris Blair now, and it was always great to turn down the sound and watch the game. You match the plays with radio with the TV, but I think Mike's your guy to do that. And wishing him the best of luck. He's done. He's a great combo. You think about things throughout the years. You think about working with Jim, Archie, Jim, and you even go far back. So,
right.
That's part of the allure. Saints, and someone who's so passionate, thoughtful, and I think the other thing about
the local game, calling that local game, and again, it is the passion, and you see it all the time now on the national sports program, where there'll be like an incredible play to win the game at the end or whatever. And what do? They cut to the local radio announcer to have him call that play, to just so the audience can feel that excitement that the local guy feels when something great happens for his team. But
and I think the other thing too, like back in the day when I was a young lawyer, Wayne Mack was my little mentor friend. Wayne Mack was acted movies. He was a history buff.
The great McNutt.
Great McNutt. He was a history buff. He was a great McNutt. He had a very high, thoughtful intellect. And he would bring that into the broadcast.
Kind of like Buddy Gilberto.
But Buddy had a high intellect on
when it came to sports in the morning line.
Gambling. Also, matching the priest's investments in his daily mass versus who he's going to bet on. If the priest was wearing red vestments, he would say his prayer. He'd say, Lord Jesus, give me wisdom on who to bet on in the fifth grace. And he would get a divine revelation with the rest, and then he would bet. But Jim Henderson was an English scholar, very thoughtful. He's like a poet. And, he could take a football game and make it into a play or a drama that's very compelling. You know, Mike's dad was a judge, right? If I'm not mistaken. And so
I know he was an attorney. I'm not certain if he was a judge.
And I know Mike's got a very high intellect.
Very well educated, sure.
Yeah, very. And he's very.
Yeah, you know, when he's not in the moose costume, but yeah.
So I'm saying high intellect in the sense that he's got a very wide range of very thoughtful knowledge and a lot of different things that he's been incorporated into broadcast. So I just wanted to commend Diane Dean and all the group who hired him. You got a great play guy. You got a great ambassador. I think one. Well, I guess in the segment, there's one other. We'll just tie up all this COVID litigation, and we'll just move on from there. But just recently, a Supreme Court judge in federal court had granted a temporary restraining order prohibiting the requirement to enroll in the college, Edward College of Osteopathic Medicine, making it a requirement to vaccinate. And a judge granted a temporary restraining order saying that requirement is overly broad, restrictive, knocked it down, pending a trial. So there's a temporary restraining order to take it at a trial. Now, here are the arguments that were asserted in support of that injunction. First of all, that the CDC candidly admitted that the variant of COVID-19 was only resistant to certain vaccinations. Also, the court noted that vaccinations not offer full-scale protection as contended by the school. Also, the judge said it is very important that the students get to interact normally in a non-discriminatory fashion in the course of their education. And also, he did cite that it is under emergency authorization, therefore you cannot compel it. So, again, a temporary restraining order was granted, meaning that the 3 students who sued are able to attend school, pay tuition, further their education, and also they're able to, and then they're going to have a full trial. Normally, when they grant a temporary restraining order, it's an indication that the judge is probably leaning in that direction from the outset.
Right.
Because, usually wouldn't. So it's just Elizabeth Morrell, who's the Solicitor General for the Department of Justice, who works for Jeff Landry, who's worked with the local attorneys, and that's to be seen. So a lot of people have a lot of curiosity as to what their rights are. Children's school, mandatory vaccinations, employment.
It's playing out. It's playing out in the courts right now. Playing out in the court. Here's. I had a conversation with a physician, and he was telling me some stats about the emergency room, and that about 85% statewide of the people that are in the emergency room with COVID have been unvaccinated. And about 15% have been vaccinated and they're in the hospital. So the question is, and I said, wait a minute, of the unvaccinated, how many of those people had the virus before? He said, well, you know what? They're not making that statistic available. I don't know if they're counting it. I don't know if they're even asking a question, but he said, from what I understand in talking to people in various departments, the amount of people that are in the hospital, the thousands that are unvaccinated that are in the hospital, only a handful have had the virus before. And so it is what his comment to me was. So my question is, and this is, and I told him, I said, this is the problem. Let me ask you, it's twofold. The second half of it, my query was, okay, of the, 10, 12, 15%, whatever it is, of the people in the hospital that have had the vaccine, what percentage of those people had the Moderna vaccine? Which one had the Johnson & Johnson? Which one had the Pfizer? I'd want to know. Because if 90% of those, that 15% of the people in the hospital that had the vaccine had the Moderna vaccine, I'd be looking at the Moderna vaccine, and that could be established. Why aren't people keeping track of those stats? Why aren't they studying the effectiveness? And so what happens is when people have those questions and those things aren't being considered, it's you're either vaccinated or you're not vaccinated. Why aren't we looking at the benefits of your own natural antibodies that may have been created when you received the virus, when you had the virus? Why aren't we looking at, if you do get the vaccine, how effective are they? Which of them is the more effective? If we got people in the hospital and 90% of them have taken this one vaccine, then you might want to think it's less effective than the other two. And you need to compare it to the number of those vaccines versus the majority of it versus all of the vaccines. And why aren't we looking at this statistically like we should be? Instead, it's vaccine or no vaccine, and you got to get it, you got to get it. And what happens when that happens is that if it's vaccine or nothing, then you're going to get people reacting, saying that I'm not taking it. And they may be unjustified in saying it. But when somebody's trying to, pour ice cream down your throat, I love ice cream. But if you shove it down my throat, I'm going to throw it up. And I think that's a natural reaction. And if people would just, if our leaders would just take this from a more analytical approach and say, hey, look, this is what we are looking at. We're seeing these trends and these trends instead of you have to get vaccinated or you can't come to school. Give us all the facts. That's all we're asking for.
There you go. Makes too much sense. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Alvin Nicaud, We'll be right back.
Jaguars, Monday Night Football at home in the Caesars Superdome. Feels so good.
Okay, I have two holding. I have Lee from New Orleans with a liability question. We have Nicaud from Vita Springs. It's some information with an opinion on the vaccination. So that's Lee from New Orleans, liability, something about an accident at a big box store. And we have Nicaud from Vita Springs who has an opinion on the vaccination.
If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Call.
No, we don't have Big Lou this time around. We do have
Big Lou will find it.
PSA right after the Clearwater pool.
Overweight or at high.
If we jump in the pool, we'll have one more spot.
People like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790. 800.
And in case you're keeping score, Toyota won the more 24-hour race. Ferrari, Chevrolet, Corvette.
Money to the charity. Join Odyssey. Together, each of us join.
Yeah.
What's your one thing? Diamonds Direct believes it's perfectly fine to
Happened for a while, yeah. Professional and Diamonds Direct Associates Cesar Fuentes agrees.
Diamonds Direct pays attorneys to make sure that the client, whoever steps into that front door, has anything and everything that he or she is looking for.
It starts with a selection that's up to 30 times other stores.
We have more of a selection than what New Orleans had before Diamonds Direct. We offer more things like
Has nothing to do with illegal liquor. Housing rings from world-class designers.
Designers other stores aren't even allowed to carry.
and have all these designers in one place, from Viraggio to Ajax.
Yeah,
Cooper, right?
They've been in the business for 20, 30 years. It's just so special.
Meet them on that car on that Cooper, right?
Take care of that special piece that you purchased from us, and it's free, it's lifetime.
Diamonds Direct. Our customers. I remember that radio. You're okay with that. On Severn Avenue across from Lakeside Mall.
This is Bobby Hebert from my friends at Clearwater Pools and Spas, your staycation headquarters. Let us make your backyard a great family vacation spot for the summer. They're the trusted leader in water treatment and offer the largest selection in above-ground pools, spas, and hot tubs, including hot.
Okay, we've got one more spot after this.
Clean and pristine blue and oxygen sanitizing systems. Visit cwnola.com or one of our locations in Cunnington, Metairie, Baton Rouge, and Pearl, Mississippi. Clearwater Pools and Spas.
Son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it.
When your kid can't find the language, find the lyrics. Start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ed Counseling and Little
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nicaud and Sunseri now on the Oakland Art Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. That's let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Lee. He's got questions regarding liability. Hey, Lee, you and all things legal. Lee.
Hello, Lee.
There? Hello. Hey, Lee. What you got for us, brother?
Lee left the building.
Lee has left the building. Let's go to Nicaud. Nicaud. And all things legal.
Hi, how are y'all this morning?
Good.
Good. I wanted to talk to you about the vaccine. I'm a nurse, and I work with COVID patients. And what you said just a little while ago, or the gentleman on your show said that he wishes maybe the local government would come out and give statistics on, the unvaccinated and the vaccinated. I don't want to say what hospital I work for, but I will tell you that over 90% of the patients in the hospital with COVID, with the Delta variant, are unvaccinated. And I was on the fence about the vaccine. I don't work normally on a COVID unit, but when the hospital, my manager, emailed us to let us know, hey, we need help with COVID. We don't have enough nurses. We don't have enough staff. We need help. So some of us volunteered. I was afraid, a little scared. I had worked COVID in 2020. And so I knew, what I was going to be getting into. And so I talked to my cousin, who is a PhD in immunology and infectious disease, and he studies viruses and vaccines. And he answered all my questions. And, he's a good, Christian man. He's honest. And, of course, he didn't push it on me, but he answered my husband and I questions, and my husband has never had a vaccine in his adult life. And I have, because I'm a nurse, and I take the vaccines that they require us to take. My point is we both got the vaccines, and we are glad that we did. And I will tell you that for people who are on the fence, it's not a political issue. It's not a religious issue. It's an issue that there is a virus out there that is killing people. And we are seeing young, healthy patients that are on ventilators, and they're not coming off the ventilators. They're not coming off.
Let me ask you. So when I was speaking a moment ago, you mentioned me. What I said was that there was a bigger percentage of people not vaccinated. The question I had was, and that the physician couldn't answer, was of the unvaccinated people, how many of those people had not had the virus before? In other words, had not had any type of immunity immunity. And I don't know the answer to that. And nobody has been promoting that. And maybe you would think it would be, and just not saying it because it doesn't fit the virus. The vaccine there. I don't know the answer to that. It makes me skeptical.
Come out and say, yes, look, these are the numbers. These are the hard numbers. We look at them. But, people, Ochsner, North Oak, St. Tammany Parish Hospital, Lakeview, and Slidell Memorial publish every day the admissions of vaccinated and unvaccinated. And it's clear that it's over 90%. And I see what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But those patients, when I hear somebody say, well, unvaccinated people are vaccinated people are getting the Delta variant. Yes, there is a small percentage of vaccinated patients that do get the Delta variant. And the next question I ask them is someone that you know. Well, yeah, it's my aunt. Well, is she on a ventilator? No. Is she in ICU? No. Did she get better? Yeah. Okay. And that's over 90, I would say 98% of the time. I think there was one person that I knew of that was vaccinated last January, and she had comorbidities, and she ended up in ICU.
Sure.
Got linked back on.
We are going to need boosters, just like we get the flu vaccine every year. Now, you're talking to someone who's never pro-vaccine, but
Right.
I'm seeing it with my own eyes.
I don't disagree. And again, as we've said a number of times on this show alone, we're not pro or con vaccine one way or the other. If you choose to get the vaccine, great. If you don't, that's your choice. But I would like to see more statistics on your own personal antibody immunity and how that's affecting things. Because for those people that have had it, and we had a lot of people that got COVID the first time around, for those people that have had the virus, where are the studies talking about the long-term duration of the whether it's short or long, we don't know, of the antibodies and how long and what percentage and where is that study?
I wish that my cousin Christopher was on the phone with us, because he, like I said, he does these studies. He studies
I would love for him to call in, because I just, because listen, you're explaining it very professionally, very, in your firsthand account, right? You're on the front lines, and thank you for that. But I think that what's happened is, because there's such a frantic push to get people vaccinated, it's all you hear, and the knee-jerk reaction to the public is, wait a minute, this is moving too fast. Now all of a sudden, I'm not hearing this. They won't let you even talk about it on social media on the other side of the coin, right? So when all of this starts happening, instead of just being honest with the public and saying, look, here are the results, here is this, here is that, we're getting all of these, and then, these conspiracy theories develop, they're planning some chip in you so they can keep track of you, and all this kind of nonsense grows from the disinformation and the squelching of information.
Where you got the vaccine. It's
Well,
all
right. And so if they would quit with all of the, you either have this or you can't do this, and you've got to do that, and you got to show your vaccination. If they would stop with all of this forcing and say, look, here are the facts, and here are the facts about this. And we've studied all three drugs for the last year and a half, or the last year since they've been available. And now we're finding this, and we're studying what antibodies can do. And here, look, you really, you may not have to take that, because I don't know the answer, and I've not seen the studies. But it might be that you might be better off without taking it, or just as good without taking it, the vaccine, if your antibodies are a certain level. And so, where is that study? But instead, it's vax, or nothing. And people are like, wait a minute, so that's just.
Nicaud, let me make a comment about you first. I want to thank you for your thoughtfulness. I think you gave the listeners a template on how to evaluate your personal situation.
Right.
You did research. You used your experience. You asked questions of your PhD associate. You thought about both sides. You disseminated the information. You have been so thoughtful and so wonderful in expressing yourself in a way that people can listen. And I commend you for that. I have a little bit of a question for you.
Okay.
And I was, and I'm not going to bring me into it, but I was out here before. And I'm just going to phrase it this way: there were two prevailing, conflicting medical philosophies on how to deal with this all hands on deck. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
In
Yeah.
my situation, and I'm going to make it very general. Basically, there was one school of thought of there's nothing we really can do for you. And then when I developed a viral pneumonia,
Right.
I had therapeutics that were administered to me, and I'm not going to get into it, that in the initial 2 weeks, there was a reluctance or refusal to administer to me. And I went from viral pneumonia to walking in a mile and a half in 2 days. Now, you have very smart people on both sides who have strong opinions. How would you recommend that a person take? You've got brilliant people on one side, and I think it's more of the bureaucratic state, and then you have the people on the ground on the other.
Right.
How do you reconcile the two? One, in trying to figure out what's best for you, and two, how do you disseminate whether there's, is this information, or why is it, in my opinion, the emphasis on all hands on deck? Because one of the things that I learned in this 4-week process is strengthening immunity, exercise, doing certain things to do that.
Right.
And why isn't the ultimate therapeutics, why are they not discussed or classified as maybe misinformation or ignored? I mean,
I think that, people are making it political, and some doctors don't want to prescribe medications that people are asking for that we know that can help the virus and prevent the viral pneumonia and the patients get better. I have not personally experienced that where I work. We gave some of the drugs in 2020 that were, what, how do you say, that were, you had one side saying, oh, that's not going to work, don't prescribe it, I can't believe you're taking that medication, and then the other side taking it and saying, hey, it got me better, my doctor prescribed it, it got me better. If you don't mention the drugs that we're talking about, I don't know exactly which one you're talking about. I mean, I do that.
I don't have steroids and a few other things.
Right, antibiotics. I mean, look, I'm not a doctor, okay, and I'm not trying to act like I know it all, but I will tell you what I saw and having COVID in 2020. I spoke to my doctor, we're friends, and we both were on the same page. I wanted antibiotics and I wanted a steroid. And I vitamin C infusions, just for me, and but I also took the medication. So I treated holistically, but I also treated with my doctor, and I got better. And I'm pretty healthy. I mean, I'm healthy. I don't have any health issues. I didn't get pneumonia, thank God. But the next step would have been if I didn't get better in a few days, that she would start me on hydroxychloroquine. And then, of course, ivermectin, there are studies that, and I've read the studies that it does help, and a lot of people I know are taking ivermectin, their doctors are giving it to them, and they are getting better. But that's all I know on a personal level. I don't know if I'm giving infusions right now, and my coworkers are in ICU. So I know what's going on because I'm connected, and it's not pretty. And what I do want to say, and last two things very important that I want to say. If you feel like you have natural immunity, great. I feel like I have natural immunity. I've been working for over a month with these patients side by side, because variant patients. I'm with them at the bedside all day for over 12 hours. I have not gotten sick. Yes, I do have the vaccine, but I just got my second dose a week ago. So there you go. And also, if we don't, the point is, if we don't get to a certain vaccination rate, not just in the United States, but in the world, and this is what I firmly believe, it's going to get worse. And it's going to get 4 times worse. It's already affecting our babies. And Children's Hospital is filling up. It's, and all you have to do is look at their census and you can see it. And you don't want to get the vaccine for yourself, okay, but do it for the greater good. That's how my husband did it. My husband never got to keep cares for me when I had COVID because he didn't get it. My cousin, who's the PhD, says he probably has some amazing T cells, and he just probably won't get it. But my husband, all he had to hear that it's going to get 4 times worse. There's going to be worse variants, and soon it will pierce the vaccinated, and it will move on to our children. It's already affecting our children. That's why I say, please think about getting the vaccine.
Nicaud,
Thank you for your call.
I just want to say, Nicole.
Well, let me just say, Nicole,
I want to thank you. I think we've been doing this for 14 years.
Your call has been one of the most thoughtful, well thought out, intellectually sound call we've had on the program. I just want to thank you for your input. And we appreciate everything. Albert?
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
Yeah, we'll go to break and I'll talk some more comments after that for the break.
WWL is your home team, home of the New Orleans Saints, home of the LSU's Fighting Tigers, home of Bobby Hebert, Steve Ballister, and Mark Hahn. For all pro analysis of the teams you love, catch Sports Talk weekdays 4 to 8 p.m. with Bobby Hebert, Christian Garrick, and Mike D'Antoni. Then game day, connect to the home team. On air, online, on social. WWL.
It took years.
Jimmy, who was holding, or rather Lee, who was holding, got cut off for some reason or other. He's back on. That's a liability question.
We never settle either. We crunched the
and also got Jonathan, who has a COVID question about employment, and we have Bobby, a real estate.
We're passionate about creating the highest quality rooms.
On a liability thing with a big box store. Jonathan with a question about employment.
You didn't settle when it
he has a bug business. And Bobby from St. Bernard with a question about New Orleans real estate problem.
Our jewelers are Battery Road. Beautiful in more ways than one.
Football is almost here, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports. To bring you even closer to the action, DraftKings is giving all new players a free shot at $1 million during Week 1. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay into the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Nothing adds to the excitement of watching a game quite like having a free shot at huge cash prizes. And while you're perfecting your daily fantasy skills, don't forget to check out DraftKings' free-to-play pool, where there's even more cash up for grabs. Head to the app now. Download the DraftKings app now and use code THE BIG870. For a limited time, new players can get a free shot at $1 million during Week 1. That's code the BIG870 to get a free shot at millions of dollars in prizes with your first deposit. Only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the buzz. I trust J&J to protect my family.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 50 years. We shield your home from termites, roaches, and mosquitoes and other pests. J&J Exterminating is Louisiana's largest independently owned pest control company. We know what works in Louisiana's climate. Get the shield. Get your game day groove on with all purpose peppers and mitters on 1209 and young in the wall on 1663. Shop local and easy. Come on in and trade. Wild Street Center.
Family owned, family operated, family friendly.
At Dependable Storage, we want your stuff. DependableStorage.com. If your hearing aids are 2 years old or older, you may be missing out on the huge advancement in hearing aid technology now available with Lively Hearing Aids. Switching to Lively Hearing Aids is like going from this to this. You'll be amazed at the difference. Our rechargeable hearing aids last up to 30 hours without a charge. Bluetooth-enabled, they can stream music and calls directly through your hearing aids. And adjustable settings in the Lively app put you in control of your hearing. If you've been waiting to replace your current hearing aids because of the cost, the price of Lively hearing aids will be music to your ears. Lively hearing aids cost half the price of most hearing aids. And they're backed by a 100-day money-back guarantee. Try Lively today, risk-free for 100 days, and save $100 at listenlively.com/radio. That's listenlively.com/radio. Listenlively.com/radio.
This month on the 11th. This is the last spot. Sarah shares the story of a false accusation of sexual misconduct. And then her inbox is flooded with hundreds of other people saying they too have been falsely accused. A professor, a federal government whistleblower, a candidate for sheriff. What responsibility does she have to these other stories, these other people? Was it her role to decide who's telling the truth? That's this month on the 11th, a new podcast from Pineapple Street Studios.
All things legal on WWL.com and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Art Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Yeah, I did. Real quickly, again, thank you to our last caller. But that's the kind of thought, research, etc., that needs to go into your decision, whatever your decision might be. Right? Hers was to get the vaccine. Great. We're behind her 100%. If you choose not to and you thought it out, you know what's best for your family, great, you thought it out, we're behind you 100% for whatever your choice might be. Regarding Children's Hospital, and this is kind of an illustration of what I was talking about with the misinformation, right? She made a comment that Children's Hospital is filling up with COVID patients. Well, there was a headline, it's been about a week or so now, that over the past week, there's been a 500% increase in the number of children with COVID at Children's Hospital, and the emergency room is filling up. Our beds are filling up. So I asked about that, someone that worked at Children's Hospital, one of the physicians there, and she told me, she said, it went from 3 patients to 15 patients. That's what made it the 500% increase. So granted, the moral of the story is kids are getting it where in the past they really weren't, right? But she said what we're filling up with and the story just totally misled this. They're filling up with RSV, which is a respiratory virus. And she said the problem with it is, when you see kids and you're constantly wiping the nose of this 4 and 5-year-old kid because their little bodies are developing their antibodies. Their little bodies are now fighting off bacteria and disease and virus and all these things that they come into contact with when they're with other children. And so she said the problem now is these kids have been cloistered for like a year and a half, and they've not gone to school. They've went to school remotely. They've not been going to daycares because the daycares are closed. So they're not interacting, and they're not being exposed to these minimal levels of virus and bacteria. And so what's happened is now that they've kind of let them out, and they're all so many of them are getting the flu, the RSV, all of these viruses. And again, this isn't me talking. This was a physician telling me this. And they said, they've been wearing these masks, and so they may or may not be as effective against COVID because of the size of the particulates and the microns and all that sort of thing. They are effective against bacteria transfer and things of that nature. And so because those bacteria have not been transferred among young children developing antibodies and an immune system, they're now so much more affected that they're going into hospitals because they're getting these viruses that kids would normally get at a smaller dosage, small level. And so, you know, you kind of, it swings back and forth. And the problem is we're not hearing that. If we would hear that, maybe we can make better decisions for ourselves and for our cities and states and communities. But instead, all we're saying is if you don't get the vaccine, you can't do X, Y, Z. That's the end all be all only thing. And when you hear that, again, it may be the right thing. I don't know. I'm not a physician. It may be the best advice ever. But when it's all you hear and you're shut down on social media if you have a differing opinion, or you cite a different study from immunologists, right? Then all of a sudden you think, well, gee, what's going on? What's the agenda? Right? Who's making money on this virus? You know, what is it all on this vaccine? And those are the kinds of questions that come from misinformation and hiding facts from the public. That's my only comment on it. I wish our leaders, our everyone would be a little more honest about it, take the politics out of it, and give us the facts. Right. That's right.
We
can
call
it. Sorry about that.
We make our decisions. You're not that much smarter than us where you have to tell us what to do. All right, let's go to the phone line. Let's go to Lee. Hey, Lee, you all think Lee was very happy.
Hey, good morning.
What you got for us, bro?
Hey, a young pastor altercation happened, and you can see this video where the altercation is possible live or you're on your own.
Albert, you're a box score guy.
Well, I'm sorry. I was having difficulty here understanding your question. If you can repeat it.
And Lee was injured. Is the box score live? Is that correctly?
Yeah.
Lee, who were you? Were you in an altercation with an employee, or were you in an altercation with another shopper?
No, it was neither one. It was two people that got into altercation.
Were you injured?
Yes, getting out the way.
Getting out the way. So two shoppers got the fight, you got out the way, and you got hurt.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. You know. So there's a security question, right? So one of the questions is there a lack of security? Okay, so a merchant has a duty to maintain a safe environment for their customers. But what you'll have to show is you'll have to get police reports and incident reports from that big box store to determine whether or not there have been previous incidents of this type of altercation or altercations in the past where there is a danger. And if there is, then we have to look at the security that the store puts on and whether or not that security is adequate to maintain quell some of that violence and some of the altercations that are occurring. So if it's a repeated thing that you can go to them and say, hey, look, we have problems with customers fighting over this, all you probably have to do if it's a big box retail store, go show video from Black Friday, right? You might see some altercations, but again, you look at those, and that's how you weigh a lack of security case from a causation standpoint. And a liability standpoint is whether or not they've had incidents in the past, whether they've been put on notice, and what type of security they have, and what are their security methods and procedures in going forward with trying to protect their customers.
All right, Lee.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Good explanation, Albert. Let's go to a final break. Secretary Albert Nicaud with the Lawyers All Things Legal. We'll be right back.
Just when the earth was new, tubes of lava flowed up from the heart of the earth.
And those lava tubes are the diamond mines of today.
I love diamonds. What created diamonds are born in the plasma chamber.
They are chemically, structurally, and optically identical to diamond.
Okay, you'll have about 2.5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes for you.
Substance on Earth.
But the most abundant substance in the universe.
Have I ever seen plasma?
the lightning is plasma.
And the thing is made of plasma.
Say, Diamond in a blind spot.
Yeah, Johnson's still there.
Or as a final
I would suggest Bobby, however.
Plasma
Real estate questions
made.
So that's why we call them Midland.
Stubborn and creative.
We give you every choice. Welcome to Ramsey's.
Ramsey's Diamond Jewelry, the largest diamond store in Louisiana, and veterans between Bonneville and West End in Metairie.
This is Paul LaGrange, host of the Home Improvement Show. Our friends at Burkhardt Air Conditioning Heating want to be comfortable, and they want you and your family to be safe. That's why they actually talk about Generac automatic standby generators. When the power goes out, Generac generators
Bobby coming up here with a question about real estate and new laws on real estate property.
be less than a dog. Talk to Burkhardt about a Generac generator. Visit acproms.com and tell them Paul sent you.
Great Brown Auto Group, used car values are at an all-time high due to supply and demand constraints. Even told you owe more than what your vehicle is worth, or there's too much time left on your lease. Look again, pre-owned values have skyrocketed, so sell them your vehicle today while the market is still hot. Visit any Ray Brand dealership website to get your KBB instant cash value or swing into one of their stores today. Check it out at RayBrandAuto.com.
It's almost through the hardware. A roof is its shape. That's why for nearly 30 years, homeowners have trusted Garcia Roofing. For more information, visit GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit quirky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you
one more after this one.
provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790. 800-568-2790.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Improve your gas mileage by properly inflating tires and taking your car in for a tune-up. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a cleaner tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Now, more all-things legal. I'm joined by Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions here are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Sunseri. Back to WWL.
You get these calls out law firm 504-837-1304, 504-837-1304, Vanderbilt 985-9696.
Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Bobby. Got about 2 minutes. Bobby, what you got?
Okay, real quick. I have a rental property in the wild that one side's been rented from other dealers, the other side's empty. We're trying to sell it, but if we have people that want to rent it, with this moratorium going on for eviction, if we get somebody in there in September, are they protecting into that, or is there anything because of new tenants that, if they decide in October they don't want to pay for whatever reason?
That's all still in a state of flux. The U.S. Supreme Court said that the CDC does not have authority to make that kind of mandate, to mandate the rental moratorium or the eviction moratorium. The Biden administration decided to do it anyway. So much for checks and balances. And I know some courts are enforcing it. If you rent the property and you're trying to sell it, what you should do is rent it on a month-to-month basis. And that way you're not evicting for non-payment of rent. If you choose to evict, you can evict because you just want possession of your property. And the courts are being receptive to that and allowing you to go ahead and do that. And if you got a 1-year lease, and they're just not paying the rent, but they're complying with the other terms of the lease, then it's a different situation, and they're gonna likely enforce the moratorium. But if it's just month to month,
month-to-month basis, we can rent it out and put them out the next month if we get a buyer, or if we decide we don't want them in there anymore, they don't pay.
Well, and when you go to the eviction, you don't want to say that you're kicking them out because they didn't pay. You just want to say, we want a month-to-month lease, and we want possession of our property because the month is terminated. All right?
Great. That takes me. Thanks a lot.
All right, Bobby.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. From the past. All right.
There you go.
So there you go. Doug, what we got?
Welcome back, man. Been kind of tough going without you, getting guests in here and trying to keep all the plates in the air, Not a problem. Well, I'm glad you're doing better and back at work and, back in the host seat.
No, I think I'm happy to be back. I think great physician assistant and a great doctor. I'm not going to mention names. They really listened to me, and they took doctor physical history, and they gave me information so that we could make decisions. And I went from being in the hospital, I left the hospital voluntarily, to being walking in a mile and a half because there was a reluctance on one side of the medical establishment that didn't want to give me what I learned in my health. And then I found some other doctors who were willing to try that. And when I was able to try that, I'm on the road to recovery. Patient advocacy, learning, listening, trying to be thoughtful, and do not listen to people who bully you, shame you, or say, or come across as being, I'm smarter than you.
Condescending, right.
Get as much information, smart, rely on your instincts, we'll be okay.
Yeah, make the decision that's best for you and your family.
That's right. All right, so next week, we'll see you on All Things Legal. So be good, be blessed, and stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
The News Talk Sports Leader, WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.